What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the SFS channel. My name's Gavin, and today I've got some NFL game predictions for you guys. I'll be picking the winners and losers of all the games in the NFL Week 8 action. I added an episode to my schedule this week, so my game predictions got bumped back a day, so the Thursday Night Football game has already happened. I'll be honest with you guys, I lost on that one. I picked the Panthers to win 27-20, but the Falcons won 25-17, I believe. So 0-1 already to start off the week, but we're going to hopefully turn things around with the rest of the picks. Up here in the top corner of my screen, you guys can see my overall record this season. I'm actually doing pretty well, I think, 70-36 overall, so that's something that I am happy about. But before I get into today's episode, make sure if you guys haven't already and are new to the channel that you go down and hit the subscribe button. Let's try and keep growing here on YouTube and create a nice interactive fantasy football community. I really like helping you guys out, and I want to do some cool stuff for you guys in the future. So if you guys go and hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. With that being said, it's time to talk football, and let's get into the game picks. All right, like I said, the Falcons upset the Panthers yesterday. I was actually really impressed with the Falcons' play. Their defense played by far their best game of the season, holding Carolina to only 17 points and making a game-winning stop with an interception on the Panthers' last possession of the game. I think Atlanta is a team that is probably not going to make the postseason realistically this season, but I think that they're going to trend up the rest of the year, and they're definitely a group to watch out for. Certainly a trap team. If you guys have your favorite team playing them, they are definitely an opponent that needs to be respected. Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Baltimore to play the Ravens. I think that Pittsburgh is going to pull what some would consider to be an upset over Baltimore. Last season, the Steelers defense gave the Ravens offense some fits, but Pittsburgh only had Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges to work with at quarterback, so I think that with Big Ben back in the lineup this year, the script is going to be completely changed. I think it'll be close. Pittsburgh, I think, will hang around until the end of the game, and then ultimately on their last possession or two are going to come away with this game. If Pittsburgh can make Lamar Jackson throw the football and have to drop back as a passer, I think the Steelers will be right where they want them, and they're going to get after Lamar Jackson with their pass rush. So I think there's a lot of things to like about Pittsburgh this week. I'll take them 24-20 over Baltimore. LA Rams at the Dolphins. I think the Rams are too good of a football team to pick against this week. The Dolphins are having a quarterback change. They're putting rookie quarterback Tua in for the first start of his NFL career. I think that Tua is going to be a great player in this league, but in your first start, you can't expect too much out of a rookie quarterback. The expectations have to be managed. So the Rams, a very sound football team, I think pull out the win on the road this week. New York Jets at the Chiefs. This game is not close. It's a talent mismatch. Pat Mahomes is going to light up the Jets' sorry and poor secondary. It's going to be 35-10, 2-3 score game victory for the Chiefs. I think the Kansas City blows them out. They're going to get up early, and KC's going to win this football game by a lot. Vikings traveling to Lambeau to play the Packers. I think that Aaron Rodgers and that team are too good for the Vikings to keep up with them in this game. Minnesota's defense is trashed right now. Obviously, Daniil Hunter hasn't played the whole season as he's been on the injured reserve. They just traded away Yannick Ngakoue. They're likely going to be down their top three corners who already performed poorly this season. So you're looking at guys you've never heard of or seen start a game in the NFL before going against Aaron Rodgers, and that's terrifying if you're those guys. I think the Packers hang a lot of points on the Vikings' head this week. I said Aaron Rodgers is the number one fantasy quarterback in the league this week. So Aaron Rodgers is going to have a heck of a day. He's going to be on fire. The Packers will be clicking, and this game is going to be 35-28 Green Bay. The Colts traveling on the road to play the Lions at Ford Field, and I think the Colts are the better football team in this game. The Lions have actually been on the rise recently. They're getting their stuff together. The defense is improving. The offense is getting better. Kenny Golladay and Matt Stafford have helped lift that group up, as well as DeAndre Swift has had a versatile dimension to that offense, but the Colts on defense are extremely sound. They're very good, and they make teams grind out drives. Indianapolis does not give up the big play, and I think that ultimately that's what the Lions offense wants to do. They want to score those big plays. They don't want to run the football 10 to 12 times on a given drive. So I think Indianapolis wins this game. The Colts are very good. I think that they're going to establish the run. Jonathan Taylor, I've predicted, is going to be in for a big day this week. I think that the Colts win a tight one. I'll go 24-21 Indianapolis over the Lions. Raiders at Browns. I think this is a really interesting game. I'm not too sold on either of these teams, but I think that Cleveland is actually the bigger fraud of the two. I think that Oakland is very sound. They're very good, but they just can't seem to finish games. Last week they hung in there and went punch for punch with Tampa Bay, but as soon as the fourth quarter hit, they got steamrolled and they just couldn't finish. Derek Carr seemed to crumble under the pressure a little bit. The pass rush was in his face, though. Not really his fault entirely. I would say that Tampa Bay has got one of the most intimidating defenses from their front, as well as that pass rush from the blitzing linebackers and corners. They throw a lot of stuff at you, and so Derek Carr had a really tough time. But I think that Cleveland is another team that is very solid from a talent perspective, but they let up too many points. I think that this is going to be a relatively high-scoring game, and ultimately the Raiders are the team I'm going to pick to win. I think Oakland takes this one 27-24. I think a field goal late is going to be the difference. Baker Mayfield, I think, might turn the football over a little bit. The Raiders have some really sneaky good players on their roster. I think Josh Jacobs will get back on track this week, and the Raiders will pick up the win against the Browns. Tennessee Titans traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. I think that this game will actually be close because Joe Burrow has been very good in his rookie season, but I think the Titans are going to pull off this one. Tennessee had kind of a heartbreaking loss last week. They were actually looking like they're going to take Pittsburgh to overtime, but then Steven Gostkowski, who's had some really big issues this season, he's been really streaky. He's either made really clutch field goals or just terrible misses. But I think that they're going to rally back. That's a tough-nosed football team. The Titans aren't going to feel bad for themselves. They've got some grown men on that team, and they're going to rally back, like I said. The Cincinnati Bengals are in trouble up front. I think Derrick Henry is going to run all over them. I think A.J. Brown is going to bully their DBs. And I think the Titans are just going to do whatever they want against the Bengals. Like I said, though, Joe Burrow is going to be able to keep up. He's been excellent this year. He's got some really good weapons as well on his offense. So I think the Titans will win this one. I'll take them 30-24, but Tennessee is going to win by nearly a touchdown. Pats at Bills. I've officially bailed on the New England Patriots. I picked them last week in a really hard game over the 49ers. I just couldn't pick against the Pats 2 weeks in a row, and I just thought that with Bill Belichick, that defense, they'd be too good to be beaten 2 weeks in a row. But ultimately, they got hammered by the 49ers. They looked terrible. They looked sloppy. This team does not look good. Cam Newton struggled really bad since he came back from COVID. I think that the entire team from top to bottom needs some fixes, some improvements, and changes. The Bills are too good of a football team to drop 3 games in a row. That team is very good. I think the division is the Buffalo Bills, and they ultimately can prove that they are here to stay and that they are for real this year by picking up a win over the formerly perennial AFC East champions, the New England Patriots. Chargers at Denver. I really like the Chargers. I really like the talent on that roster. I really like Justin Herbert's performance so far this season. I think that the Broncos ultimately this season are a very good football team, but they've just had too many injuries to key players from the top of that roster all the way down to the bottom. You know, Von Miller, Cortland Sutton, they're constantly missing guys. Jarrell Casey's out. I think the Broncos just have too much working against them this year. The Chargers are such a good football team. They've got an elite secondary. They've got some good pass rushers on each side of the D-line. They've got a young star quarterback. Keenan Allen's a stud. Mike Williams could have his games. They've got a running game. LA's got a lot of things going for them in this game, but I think that ultimately it's going to be relatively close. I'll take the Chargers 26-23 to beat the Broncos on the road. My SFS game of the week is the 49ers on the road at Seattle in the Fox 325 window. I think that the 49ers and the Seahawks are always one of the best games there is on the block the last couple seasons. Last season, Seattle honestly looked like the only team in the league that could beat the 49ers multiple times in a year. The Seahawks gave them fits twice in the in-division matchups they had in the regular season, but ultimately Seattle fell short to Green Bay in the divisional round of the playoffs, and then we all know the story. Green Bay got smoked by the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, but this year I think things are a little bit different. The 49ers haven't been quite as dominant as they were a season ago. They've got some significant injuries all over the field, and Russell Wilson is playing like an MVP right now. Obviously, he threw 3 picks last week, but he was still very impressive in that performance despite the turnovers. This week, I think Russell Wilson gets the best of the 49ers. I think that the Seahawks pull out a close one, 28-27. I'll take the Hawks over the 49ers at home. Saints at Bears. This is a very important game for both teams. This has playoff implications. If the playoffs were to start today, Chicago would be the last seed in the NFC playoffs. But with a win this week, the Saints would overtake them for that position. I think the Saints are the better football team. They have the better talent from top to bottom. They play better football. The Bears' offense has been miserable, but their defense keeps them in games, and they're able to win late. I think the Saints will win this one, but it'll be a low-scoring, tightly contested game. I think that the New Orleans Saints will take this game 20-17 at Chicago, and I think the difference is simply the Chicago offense not being able to run the ball and not being able to make big plays. Another interesting game I really like this week is the Cowboys at the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. I think the Eagles are going to grasp a tight hold on the NFC East after a big win in this game. I'll take the Eagles 31-13 over Dallas. I don't think that Dallas' third-string quarterback is going to be able to score a sufficient amount of points to beat Carson Wentz. Even though the Eagles have a lot of injuries, they're getting Alshon Jeffrey back this week and Jalen Reagor, which are going to be big problems for the Cowboys secondary, who is very bad this year. I think Travis Fulgham's in for a big day. Lots of Eagles you should be starting in fantasy this week. The Eagles will roll the Cowboys in this one and take over first place outright in the NFC East. And the last game on the block is Monday Night Football. The Buccaneers are traveling to MetLife Stadium to play the Giants. Daniel Jones is going to be absolutely abused in this game. The Giants can't pass block very well. They don't run block either. That Tampa Bay pass rush is going to get after Daniel Jones. They're going to make his evening miserable. They're going to hit him as he throws. They're going to put him under heavy pressure, and they're going to disrupt everything he wants to do. And then that secondary for Tampa Bay is very opportunistic as well, so I think they're going to have a couple turnovers. I think the Giants are going to play very sloppily on offense, and Tampa Bay is just going to roll these guys. I think it's going to be somewhere around the range of 24 to 27 points for the Bucs and only 10 to 13 for the Giants. Those were my NFL Week 8 game predictions. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And turn that bell on so you guys are notified whenever I come out with a new episode. I really enjoy having you guys here around the channel. If you guys have any fantasy questions, make sure to put those in the comments down below. I'll be sure to get to all of those. And let me know who your guys' favorite team is. I'm actually really interested to see what you guys have to say. I want to see the fandom I've got here spread out on the channel. So I think that's something really interesting you guys should do. Make sure to tell me who you guys are rooting for every Sunday. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.